What's up, guys? It's God's Middleman. Today's episode is sponsored by Esoteric Decoded, Synchronicity Journal, 22-Day Challenge, Activate Your Signs, Codes, and Miracles by God's Middleman. Available now on Amazon.com, link in bio. Today's topic that I just want to talk about is something that I could speak on because I've experienced it throughout my life. And if you're listening to this and you're a chosen one, then you'll relate to this very easily. And I'm not the one to be determining who's chosen and who's not. I can only speak on my life experience and the fact that I know that I'm chosen. So this is the topic right here. When these kids are born gifted, they should be celebrated and not dismissed. So when you have these young kids that are very gifted at a young, early age, I'm talking about they're labeled smart asses at 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. They're talking back. I've been there. I am that. But it's all about your perspective and how you take it. Who are we to dismiss when someone is born gifted, when star seeds are born onto this earth to incarnate and wake up the masses, so they start early. They came here with that mission. It's not something they had to develop into. It's who they are. They were made to overturn the old way of thinking, the old system, and to question everything, which I feel like is one of the biggest things that people don't do nowadays. People do not question everything. People just let shit rock. People believe what the government tells them. People believe what Google tells them. They do not use their own senses, their own life experiences to put it up, and measure it against. They measure it against Google. They measure it against school. School ain't teach you the truth. And that's a fact. School not teaching you truth. And you could go into topics and discrepancies, Yeah, 1 plus 1 is 2. You know what I'm saying? Cool. What do they really teach you besides that? You could say they teach you chemistry and stuff, But when it comes to history and spiritual knowledge, earth history, human history, mankind history, they're not telling you the truth. Because if they were telling you the truth, then these children that are born gifted will be praised in a positive way. They will be uplifted. They will be cherished, because these are the future leaders. And that's not a debate. This is facts, as time will tell. If you're uncomfortable with having someone younger than you leading you, you're going to be very uncomfortable with the new world that's approaching. And that's already here. Because I have listeners that are older than me, and I'm only 31. So get comfortable, because I was born with this shit, and they're born with this. So I just wanted to talk about my own life experience, and I wrote down a little sentence. How am I a smart ass? Because God made me exactly how He made me, on purpose. So how can earthly parents label us or dismiss us or try to suppress us of God? He intended us to be like this. So who are our earthly parents, our earthly family, people you meet in school, people on the internet? Who are they to dismiss what you are? God created you. Is it not said that God knew all of us before we were born? So that means He knew that your little cousin in your family, the one that everybody's calling a smart ass, was going to be like that. And He intended to be like that. Why? To bring in and usher the new world. The new world is authenticity. It's about being positive. It's about spirituality, being connected with God. It's about love and light. These children that are smart right away, intuitive right away, their awareness is past their age. These are the leaders. What's wrong with that? And I'm just speaking on my life experience, because I've been like this and been conscious and self-aware, and since I was in the playpen, I don't know how many of my viewers are chosen, and they can express the same things, or who has their memory. But I've been aware since the playpen. It's been one conscious non-stop. One conscious stream non-stop since I was in the playpen sipping on chocolate milk watching Rugrats. All my 90s babies know what that is. What's up? So I just had to touch on this because it's something that I feel like is misunderstood and treated the wrong way. It's the treatment for it is not proper. Dismissing a child because they're talking past your assumption of where they should be at consciously is not the proper way to go about it. You know, and also, why would you be upset or see it as a negative thing that your child, your nephew, your brother, your son, your daughter, your cousin, is bright? Isn't that a positive that entity, that person, that soul was born into your family to share that light? Is that not a positive? I think it's a positive. I have so many little cousins in my family, and I know they're bright. And I never talk down on them. I told them, yo, you smart as fuck. Keep it going. You see what we see, and you see it earlier than us. I love that. You gotta support. You can't use these words to try to tear them down and label them and mislabel them, shall I say. Because anybody that's ever called me a smart ass because my consciousness and my awareness was present earlier than they thought it should be, or earlier than they were at my age, mislabeled me. It's called I'm a bright star. I'm a bright soul. Starseed. So I'm talking to you like I'm talking to me. And that's what I have to say about that, because I never let it touch me. Never let the label touch me. Never agreed with them. Why? Because I already know how life works. I already know how this shit works. There could be 1 million people all saying something is true. And if you know it's not true, or you know the facts of the situation, you're not supposed to join the crowd and just bandwagon it up with them. No. You're supposed to be brave, stand up, tell them the truth. Isn't that what Jesus did? Wasn't Jesus teaching people to elevate, ascend? Wasn't he unlocking people? Isn't that why they killed him? Because he was standing against the masses that just wanted control? So it's he says it, it's the narrow path. It's the hard thing to do. But it has to be done. No one is going to do it for you. You're not going to be protected your whole life where people are going to jump in front of the bullet for you. People are going to jump in front of the criticism for you. No, you got to stand up and be like, yo, I hear all of y'all out. I hear all 30 of y'all in this room. Y'all all wrong. Why don't you look at it like this from this perspective? Why don't we collect the data and come up to a conclusion that's, a little more based in reality, not just based upon your assumption and your earthly labels? Because our spiritual talents, gifts, are past earthly labels, earthly explanations. It's past that. And you can even say that these spiritual gifts, all of us have access to on certain levels. All of us have access to some type of psychic abilities that we just think is coincidence, or, oh, we're lucky. Oh, we got lucky on that. Oh, we just made a prediction and it came true. No, that's clairvoyance. You know what I'm saying? So, but you would never even dabble and try to understand and grasp these concepts if you don't look into them yourself, or you're not paying attention and using your own discernment to make life decisions. Because if you're just going by the textbooks, if you're just going by what people would say to you all throughout your life, and you're collecting that data and you're running with it, you won't come up with the right answer. You won't come up with the right explanations for why you have these things or why you are like this. So I just want to say to all my smart asses out there, all my star seeds out there, all my chosen ones out there, I see you. I've been that. I am that. I ain't never fold. Why would I fold? I know who I am. I know what I am. I know you know who you are. And I know they doubted you all along the way until you got into your own environment and you're like, wait, I'm away from my hometown. I'm away from my home school, my original school, my elementary school, my high school. And when I'm out in the real world, people see me. People see the greatness and the light. People see that I'm trying to be helpful and useful and I'm not trying to do nothing negative. People love that I'm smart and I solve problems fast. You know what I'm saying? Why should we be reprimanded for being great? God made all of us like this. How can anyone that's on this earth make a judgment call on you when God said that he made you like this on purpose? Who were they to say anything opposite? Who were they to even try to attempt to talk you down off your real greatness? And that's what I'm saying. I've been there. I ain't never fold. Never will. We are God's warriors. This is our mission, to wake the masses up. We have no choice. This is what we are here for. You either do it or you don't. And if you are not going to do it, it better be on your own timing and not influences of the outer 3D world. It'd be like, nah, I'm not going to, act on this thing yet. I'm going to wait a little bit longer because my discernment tells me so. It better be like that. Ain't nobody could tell you what to do. Ain't nobody could tell you who you are. God already wrote it down, already told you, already told everybody who you are. They can't accept that fact, or they don't like that fact. That has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. So I think that this topic I touched on enough. Plain and simple. The next children that are incarnating on Earth are bright as fuck. They're going to be the leaders. So I want all you 90s millennial parents to be, Gen Z, all y'all parents to be, make sure you know who you talking to, and make sure you appreciate that you had the privilege of having your lineage bring the light to Earth. That shit is amazing. Imagine everybody I ever grew up next to knew who I was right away. Imagine they embraced it right away. Imagine where what kind of greatness we could have achieved together as a collective, wherever it was. And that's why I move how I move in life. When I see someone's great, I call it out right there. I'm like, yo, you great. You're amazing at this. Stick to it. Yo, your talent is this. I'm going to tell you if you know or you don't know. I'm just going to call it out. Ain't no hate. Ain't no gatekeeping. You want to rise up. Praise them up. Be like, yo, I see you. I see what your life mission is on Earth. I appreciate it. And I support it. Alright, guys. It's Chosen One. God's middleman.